All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the fourth general meeting of the Decentralized AI Agent Alliance. Thanks everyone for attending. First, for those first timers, we pronounce it DAIAA. Our mission is to foster the development and proliferation of decentralized AI agents through education, activism, research, and events. And we're 3 months in. I think we're executing, for a young organization pretty well against that mission. Here's the agenda for today. We always start with the new members introducing themselves, then go into a general DAIAA update. Most of the work here is done in the subgroups. So we'll have each of the subgroups give an update. Then we'll open it up to discussion. If anybody wants to bring anything up, mention something, highlight something, that is the time to do it. And then we'll end with a few member asks. So we announced the formation of DAIAA on February 9th, so just a little more than 3 months ago, and we started with 30 founding members. And today we have 83 organizational members, and that's up 53 from the original announcement. We actually have now 17 individual members. Most of those are just people who are interested in learning about agents, or a couple are from larger organizations that are excited to join, but they're waiting to get approval to join. If this is your first meeting, it would be great if you could introduce yourself, or if you haven't introduced yourself before, I will stop sharing. And if you just raise your hand, if there are folks out there, we'll just call you in the order that you raise your hand. And so let's see, the first hand is from Odelia.
Hey guys. Hi Lou, great to meet you
Odelia.
again. Hey everyone, pleasure to see new and old friends. So Odelia Tortman representing here XRPL Commons. XRPL is a Paris-based organization which focuses on supporting the adoption of XRPL, which is an L1 protocol, mostly associated with Ripple, but in essence supports different types of financial service applications and different types of use cases. I also have here with me Vera, who's basically also from our XRPL Commons in Paris. I lead our corporate adoption stream, which focuses on designing different types of use cases for financial services. Vera here is leading the education work stream, and I'll give her a second to introduce herself as well. In terms of my background, I've been doing digital finance for almost 14 years. I've known Lou for at least 10 of them. So we go way back, and it's great to see you again, previously with the World Bank and with Deloitte. And very excited to be working with you guys and to be joining the different working groups. Over to you, Vera.
Thank you, Delia. Good afternoon, everyone. It's really a pleasure to meet you all, even though virtually, hopefully once in Paris, who knows, if you manage to come. I'm leading the academic initiatives at XRPL Commons, and are really looking forward to create different types of collaborations and projects together on the matter of education. And blockchain and AI and all these exciting subjects. Thank you so much.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Art. Next is James.
Hey, everybody. I'm James Hodson, co-founder of Katara AI. We help people build agentic AI workflows for business process. My favorite one right now is we have an AI-powered Discord agent. And so met Lou at, I think, Eat Denver, and he invited me, and I've been really excited about just growing and building agents and doing all these great things. So thanks, Lou, for the invite and having me.
Awesome. Thanks for coming, James. Al?
Hey, folks. Al Morris from Koi here. Koi, if you don't know, is a distributed computing network, but we've been around for a while, so we've recently pivoted towards supporting mostly AI agents. This is the actual Koi app here, and you can see this one's actually got the Crypto Mondays logo. We've started white labeling these for a variety of communities. What we've been doing behind the scenes, though, we've now got about 100,000 computers in the network, and people can come in and run tasks on their machine. So in this case, you can see this is a task that's running, and they actually also have access to certain credentials. So this one has a Claude key and a GitHub account. So this allows us to write code from about 100,000 computers, which is pretty cool. And you actually see them popping up from different accounts. We've also got now about a dozen other types of products on here and about 24 tokens that have come out. And we recently just got into the business of setting up autonomous hedge funds, which we launched our first one this weekend. So a whole bunch of different AI tools you can take advantage of. It's very good for crowdsourcing. And as you can see, the payments come in any different tokens. So if you have your own token, you can actually come and recruit our nodes. They'll stake your token, they earn your token. We're just here to facilitate it. Under the hood, we also have a fork of the SVM. So it's extremely fast, very low cost, and gives all kinds of options for growing really strong communities. So yeah, happy to be here and nice to meet all of you.
Awesome. We're excited to be white labeling it. So thanks, Al. Fraser?
Hi all. So I'm Fraser from Checked. I think one of our team, Matt, has been on one of these before, but yeah, first time I think I'm attending. So for those who aren't aware, we have built and deployed trust infrastructure for agents, so the ability to have decentralized identifiers for them, attestations if they meet certain security audits, if they're representing certain companies at a given time, and the ability to manage that trust to make sure that they we're effectively not opening up users to fraud and exposure there. So yeah, effectively try to provide that trust layer for agents in general across the web. So yeah, pleasure to meet you all.
All right, welcome. Thanks, Fraser. Rashab?
Hey everyone, I'm Rishabh from TD Group. Been in the space for 7 years, investing in incubating companies, focusing on the token and the tokenization side of it. We run a few things together from investments and then liquidity investments. For the last few years, we realized how AI has been changing the way we operate. Not from here, a few familiar faces here. DAIAA, Carlos, good to meet you guys. And for the past few years, we started working on AI, supporting AI. So we've been invested in a few AI companies. And currently for the adoption of AI, we have been running hackathons on AI agents, supporting the developer community, encouraging them to build more and then giving them a platform for their growth from being an idea to a business. And as our BizCon logo says, walk-in is an idea, walk-out is a business. We recently hosted a hackathon with XRPL Commons, Solana, and Hammoud in Paris Blockchain Week. It was quite a successful hackathon, and have known Lou for quite a number of years now. Has hosted a few meetups with him in Dubai, and looking forward for. Sorry,
I said they rocked.
Yeah, absolutely, all of them, they actually rocked. Yeah. I mean, we sent one with Ilya from Nia, was a grand success. Like, you know, fully sort of no space available for anyone. And looking forward to be working with all of you guys that are working in the field of adoption of the AI agents, and that in a decentralized way. I love by the way, the name, the decentralized space for AI agents. That's must for any AI model to scale up and be impartial. So anyone who would like to be working for the adoption of their AI tech, we are currently planning to host a hackathon for AI agents. Would love to get in touch on how can we support you. We have a good developer base in the community in the Southeast Asia, India, and European region, and would love to know how can we help you.
Okay, thanks, Rashab. Joshua?
Thank you. I'm a CEPO for Kadi and advisor to Provenance Blockchain Foundation and chief advisor to Saudi Arabia AI and Blockchain Center. My day job's at Kadi. We are layer 2 that does compliant privacy. We have a feature called Privacy on Demand, which means for those who have agents or projects that exist on other blockchains that need compliant privacy at speed and cost efficiency, then they can leverage Kadi while keeping their dApps on whichever blockchain that they choose to build on. The world does not need yet another L2, so we're not trying to be a general purpose L2, but bring privacy to the masses. We do that through a technique called garbled circuits, which allows for innovative participants in a given smart contract to be able to not only encrypt and decrypt data that they need in real time, but also to run operations on top of data while it stays encrypted. We are heavily focused on real world assets and tokenization alongside Tokenized Asset Coalition, and also agentic plays alongside solopreneurs and AI agents.
Perfect. Welcome, Joshua. And I know some folks, came in after we started, but if this is the first meeting you've been at or you haven't introduced yourself previous, raise your hand and introduce yourself. And the last raised hand is Whitney.
Thanks, Lou. Thanks for including me. My name is Whitney. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Ringfence AI. Looking forward to getting to know you all. Ringfence builds at the intersection of AI and cybersecurity. And we're excited to be working with Fraser and the Check team on decentralized ID and agent verification. But yeah, also joining me today is Daniel from the Ringfence team. So thanks all for the inclusion, and I'm looking forward to getting to know you all better.
Okay, terrific. And let's see, we got one more, Paul.
Hi, everyone. Yes, my name is Paul de Gruschi. I am an English qualified lawyer, but I live in Switzerland, and I am an in-house counsel for the Web3 Foundation. So we support the Polkadot ecosystem. So interested in decentralization from that perspective. I've joined relatively recently, also got an interest in AI in the legal space. But yeah, that's why I'm here with you. So thank you for joining, and apologies. It's given time differences, it's not always easy to join the calls, but I was able to come and listen to this.
Thanks for taking the time. Where in Switzerland?
Just outside Zurich. Well, we're in Zug for our office.
Okay, good. We've got a good Crypto Monday Zurich chapter. Want to join that sometime. So great. So thanks, everyone. And yeah, I think it's important, obviously, for the new members to introduce themselves. And also, we put these up on the web, and I've heard from a couple folks that, they joined because, they saw all the amazing people who are introducing themselves. And so let's see, hold on a second. Okay. Let's see, this always struggle with Zoom. Yeah. Stop sharing. Get back. One moment, sorry. Okay, here we go. And then just a general DAIAA update. So just a few things of note. So the idea is to have 2 general meetings a month. We start with just one, but we now realize that showcases are awesome. Our first showcase was great. So the next showcase is going to be next Monday from 12 to 1. And if folks in Europe, I'd be up, totally up. I know that's very late for you guys. If anybody wants to do a Europe focused one, in a better time, we would definitely facilitate that. But the next one that's planned is May 19th, 12 to 1. And if you're interested in showcasing your agent, please email us at info@daiaa.org, DAIAA.org. And then again, we do this every meeting and every newsletter, but please fill out the member directory. I'll drop this into the chat as well in just a little bit. But this is going to help us. We're going to try and use AI agents ourselves, on our membership to optimize, everything that's going on here. So, the more info that we have, on folks, and it just stays here and on. The better it is for how the organization will work. And so we'll be reaching out to you one-to-one at some point if you don't fill it out. And then also Crypto Mondays has or DAIAA has become a sponsor of Crypto Mondays. So wherever I am, around the world, and increasingly with other chapters, we'll be having the DAIAA logo on it as a sponsor. It's just something that, that we're able to do, and I think, help spread the word. I think the first time we did it was at Crypto Mondays at Dubai, which Rashad referred to earlier. We had 2,200 RSVPs for that, so a lot of people seen the name, and then it's up there at the event as well. And so hopefully that just furthers, what it is that we're all here trying to do. And then the last thing is, just yesterday, just wrote, ahead of this meeting, had some time to reflect, for, the first 3 months of building a decentralized AI agent. So I'll drop this in there too. Be great if everybody could go in and like it. You can like it up to 50 times. And the more people, who clap on it, the more people who will see it, and the better it is for the organization. And that's it with the kind of the general updates. And now we will move to the subgroup updates. And so we have 8 subgroups here, the 7 on this page, and we'll start with the legal issues. And I'll stop sharing it and turn it over to Adam.
Thanks. Hey, can I go second instead? I'm just going to switch
Sure.
devices. Thank you.
Of course. One moment. So let's see. Up next is up next is the data ownership. So Deli, are you in front of your computer?
I am in the car actually, but I
Oh, here I've got the slide up. Hold on a second. 1 second.
No problem.
Data ownership slide. Let's see, there it is. Okay. So the shared example.
Yeah, just give me 1 minute if you don't mind. Just 1 minute, please.
Nothing is easy. Okay, Adam, are you back?
Yep.
Okay, I'll stop sharing. Turn it over.
All right. Okay, I'll be brief. I didn't realize there were 9 subgroups. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, not all of them are going to be. Some
Okay.
new and haven't met yet.
Yeah,
in
cool.
any case.
So, all right. So briefly, representing the legal subgroup, and I'm just going to put a link in the chat to our Google Drive folder. We've met twice, and the main project we are working on right now, which you can find a link to a folder in that link, but I'm going to just quickly share my screen if I can, see if it's super easy. Yep. So here you can see, you can see a little bit. This is the document where we're keeping track of our first project. And I'm sharing this primarily today because I want to get everyone's input if you have any in the chat, or you can jump over to the document or just ping me separately. But what we're doing is trying to create first the ultimate prompt for a research paper on decentralized AI legal and related issues, like legal, regulatory, stuff like that. And so what we've started doing is writing a prompt and collecting all the legal issues. So a lot of these are coming from lawyers' actual experiences with their clients dealing with decentralized AI. Others are a little bit more of a brainstorm. And we want to get the research to address at least all of these issues. So now after the first meeting, we didn't even have this list of issues. We had just a starting prompt. We got some sample output. You guys can check these out if you're curious. Like we put our deep research results into Notebook LM to get a podcast and put that here. You don't really need to check it out. It's a draft stage, but this is what we're doing. So after this, we have other ideas as a subgroup for what we might do. But first, we want to create this content, leverage it. So for example, I know Lou has been talking about doing a media series. Maybe this, we could turn this into even a series of episodes that we could contribute to DAIAA Media. And then we're also going to take it and use it ourselves. I mean, pretty much everyone in our subgroup, which is, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 who showed up, 20, 25 total, we all want to know the answers to these questions. And so we're motivated to collaborate on this. And if anyone else wants to, come collaborate with us. And then we're excited to see what we do with it next, right? Again, we're all applying kind of legal and regulatory kind of concepts and issues in our day-to-day as it relates to AI and decentralized AI. And so we'll see where we can take this from there. Please join us if you're interested. There's a Telegram area. Send me a message. I'll get you in the calendar invite. We have a monthly meeting as well. That's if you're not on the calendar invite, I'd say you're kind of not in the group. If you want to get in the group, make sure you have the calendar invite. And let me pause there and see if there's any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Adam? Once? Twice? Okay, cool. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
And Deli, you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to go. So forgive me, I'm driving everyone, so I'm going to stay off camera for a minute. If you would bring up the slides, please, Luke.
Yeah, hold on a second. Bo's got to go over and stop the slides from being full screen for whatever reason. And there you go. Okay, data ownership subgroup. Shared example, number 1.
Yeah, so similarly, a big sort of consensus from our subgroup is that we are going to be a bit of a think tank and produce reports on a regular basis around issues around data ownership in agentic AI. So we drafted a first similar example to what Adam showed with legal in terms of working on prompts that can be used to generate these reports, to do the deep research and then come up with them. So we shared an example of just one that we did was around self-sovereign NPCs in gaming as an example of a kind of report and framework that we could do. So we went through that, just shared that with the team effectively because our conversation moved to the next point, Lou. Our next point was really where a lot of the focus of the group went, which was really around collaborating. How do we actually collaborate ourselves within the subgroup? Because on one hand, we're really excited about the opportunity of being a think tank and sharing ideas around, developing thought leadership on what's happening in the space and what should be done. But we want to also be grounded and pragmatic and operational. So we decided that another thing that we want to do in parallel with that is explore ways that we can collaborate within the subgroup so that when we are generating reports and papers, they can be rooted in actual real examples or real initiatives that are happening in the ecosystem. So then going on to the third point.
Are there any tools that you're looking at to help with the in-group collaboration?
I mean, it's going to be agents, and I think, on a separate note, obviously, we've been talking about Agent Monday, and Monday will obviously have a role within DAIAA, an extensive role within DAIAA. We haven't spoken about specific tools at this stage, but that will obviously lead on from there. As we discussed, using research agents, for example, to generate reports, it goes to the next level in terms of using agentic AI to facilitate better collaboration. But what we did say, just to kind of, which does go into that in that sense, is the first initiative Brittany mentioned the Drumwave project that she's working on.
That's Brittany Kaiser.
Brittany Kaiser, sorry, yes. Brittany Kaiser mentioned the Drumwave project she's working with in Brazil, where the government of Brazil has basically just approved an initiative for, I think it's 70 or 90 million Brazilians to be involved in a data ownership initiative that allows people to earn from their data supported by the government. And so we've been talking about aligning iCubes and using iCubes for the blockchain enablement aspect of that and for the asset management side of it. So that's an initiative that is pretty big and pretty broad in terms of all the different kind of services that could be plugged into it effectively. So we agreed to use that as a kind of first initiative for us to sort of explore around how we can, collaborate as a group in this space to be able to put some substance behind our thought leadership papers so that they're not just sort of ivory tower academic exercises, but thought leadership that's rooted in real world experience and problem solving.
That's super exciting. I'm
pretty
surprised this is the first I'm hearing of Drumwave.
Yeah, I mean, it's they've sort of been under the radar a little bit. They're a San Francisco-based company. Yeah, and they're all in this sort of data ownership, data sovereignty space. Not so, they're in that space very specifically, and I think around the principles of that, I think the crypto-enabled, blockchain-enabled, decentralized component to it hasn't really been central in terms of the operations. I think it has been in their thinking. They've always known that that's going to come. So I think it's now at the stage, they've been doing a lot of the government relations side of it. And now that that's effectively done, then now want to operationalize it. So we're going to be helping them on the blockchain Web3 side of it.
Yeah, wow, super interesting. Okay, thanks. The next is the conversation. Fraser?
Yep, just a really quick one.
And by the way, this is open, so if anybody has a question anytime, feel free to interrupt.
Cool, thank you. So probably for DAIAA's awareness, I can follow up separately. We're also part of, it's very early stages, but I think called the Sovereign AI Alliance. It's super early that we got dragged into by DataHive and Nuclei. I don't know if you guys have come across it, but they are looking at.
Can you drop a link into when you're done? Can you drop a link in the thing to it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I haven't heard of them, but I mean, obviously, in our view, we're very happy to work with any of them. We're not doing this to make money from the group. We're doing this obviously to solve problems. So we can partner with any of the the other groups.
Absolutely, and transparently, like it's extremely early. So I'll dig out whatever we can. But they're kind of looking at almost having some kind of principles that they subscribe to or people subscribe to, and potentially in the future act as more of a almost like certifying organization against those principles in terms of user-owned data, user-owned models, user-owned kind of you name it, and very much focusing down that angle. So the only reason for bringing it up is there's kind of some crossover with the data ownership side that's probably worth bringing together. So yeah, I'll find the best thing to ping in and ping it over to yourself, DAIAA, if that works for you.
Yeah, that would be great, Fraser. And actually, 2 points I wanted to make. One, when you ping stuff on Telegram now as well, to Lou's point earlier about collaboration. So one of the things that we are doing, and it's again very early, but within Agent Monday, which is Crypto Monday's AI agent, we've partnered with a company called KBAI.
Which is going to be open and everybody
completely open source. It's going to, our templates are unlovable. It's a vibe coding platform. You don't even have to be a programmer to create an agent. It's super accessible, super easy to use. But we're partnered with a company called KBAI, and basically we're ingesting all of Crypto Monday's content, which will then ingest DAIAA. We haven't figured out quite exactly how the DAIAA tie in, but obviously it's under the same umbrella. But the important thing is that if you post stuff in Telegram and share documents in Telegram, that will be, we're going to be picking that up in our knowledge base. So this is going to make it a lot easier to track and trace in terms of themes that are common to multiple people or multiple organizations. So it's a really good way of sharing information. Obviously, we're using Telegram as our primary comms channel for DAIAA currently, but it will also now form the knowledge bank that will be processed by Agent Monday. So I encourage everyone to, when you're sharing information, just think about that, because it will be very helpful for our collective knowledge base. And then Fraser, directly to your point, it's actually not last meeting, but the meeting before. One of our very specific initiatives within the data ownership subgroup is to collaborate with other data ownership organizations, other decentralized agent, self-sovereign agent initiatives as well. So that's actually in our mandate. So we'd love to partner with the Self-Sovereign AI Alliance to that effect as well.
Awesome, fantastic. Yep, I'll figure out the best way of making a connection and drag it together.
Awesome, thank you.
Hey, Delia.
Yeah, first of all, thank you all. As a newcomer to the group, I have to say this is fantastic. And I wanted to know, is there like a database or a repository where we can see all these links to all this from one side, database that you're building, the different types of templates you've just mentioned you have, would be very, very interesting to see. From our perspective at XRPL, we're extremely active now on the whole world of agents. So also our last cohort is focused on the agentic web. So we're also building our own repository, and I think it would be great to join forces on that. So if there's, again, any centralized database where we can take a look and also share our own things, it would be great.
Yeah, George, are you here? So George is KBAI, knowledge base AI, out of I think they're out of Madeira in Portugal. They're members of the organization as well, and so that's who we're working with. In Delhi, you can add more to that.
Sorry,
Yeah.
yes, I was on mute. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I would, yes, KBAI is basically building a knowledge bank for us. I would say, I mean, we're working on the integration this week. Either by next week, Monday, the 19th, we'll be able to show you something on Monday, the 19th, when we do the showcase of projects, just a very brief one around Monday, specifically around that. And certainly by the following week, we'll have something. So yes, stay tuned is the short answer. But also on Crypto Mondays, .io, if you go to cryptomondays.io, if you sign up for Agent Monday, then you'll be in the fast lane. You'll get a copy of that immediately once we release it. But then we'll also run a sort of demo showcasing how you use it and how it works with KBAI, probably next week, Monday, if not the following week.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Celia.
In the meantime, Telegram is really your best place to kind of connect with and find out what's going on there.
Okay, so unfortunately, the folks running the Peter, running the conversational agent subgroup couldn't make the meeting today, so he sent over some things just to mention quickly that first, he said the first two meetings focused on the mission of the subgroup, the member intros, overview of conversational voice agent abilities, showcase some projects, and highlighted some ethical issues. So in the next meeting, which is a week from tomorrow, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern, going to feature more showcases, including Interflexion's personal trainer coach. So that is a conversational agent subgroup. Sorry. And with that, let's see, we'll go back to the other subgroups. So let's see. Let's go to Eric. You want to talk about the agentic commerce subgroup?
Hey folks, this is Eric Forst from Bloxy, and I run the agentic commerce subgroup. We've had about 8 meetings so far. We started as
You're in the lead.
Well, yeah, we started with weekly meetings back in March, and now we're in a bi-weekly cadence. Our next meeting is tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. We meet every 2 weeks at that time. You can just join our Telegram group to see the latest and to get the link. What we've been focused on is really best practices and infrastructure, everything related to agentic commerce, whether it's wallets, payments, verification systems, agentic life cycles, middleware products like DAIAAs, anything that an agent can interact with that can help you manage agents. My platform, Bloxy, we did a demo. We showed how you can use our dashboard to track agents that have wallets. Anyone who wants to try it out, the new Bloxy is live, so please hit me up. I'll drop a calendar invite in the link if anyone wants to see the new Bloxy and try it out. We had Boson and Fermion protocols on one of our meetings. Sukrita talked about their tech stack for decentralized commerce. We had Andy Singleton present his smart agents that are currently doing DeFi trading. We had Peter from the conversational agents present Nova Echo as well, because
Just joined. Hey, Peter.
Hey, Peter,
Hello.
because Nova Echo has agents that are doing outbound sales. And so obviously any agent that's involved in buying or selling things means it's doing agentic commerce, and that's who who would love to have participate in our group and feature your products and services. So a lot of what we do is demos and information sharing. Anytime there's a new member on the call, we invite them to demo their application or their platform so we can see how it works and look at collaboration opportunities with other members. Last week we had Albert Lang from Bitcoin AI Startup Lab join and talk about some agents that he's looking to build. So yeah, and Albert and I have had a few other conversations and follow up from that on ways that we might be able to work together. Yeah, Mihai has been very actively involved as well. Looking at how his platform is useful in this ecosystem. So that's really been the focus. Just let's discuss agentic commerce, look at the latest news and developments. It's a fast-moving space. Major payments companies like MasterCard and PayPal and Visa have all been jumping into the fray. Visa just recently announced supporting stable coins. Obviously, there's a lot of mixed feelings about having big players like that in our pond, but ultimately, I think it's a good thing if we can get Web 2 people to bridge over into Web 3 through platforms like Visa. But that's a lively debate that we like to have. So that's what's going on in agentic commerce. Would love to have you all join. Again, I'll drop links in the chat for anyone who wants to demo our dashboard so you can see what your agents with wallets are doing and how they're spending their money. And that's it.
Perfect. Thanks, Eric. Anybody have any questions for Eric?
I put it in the chat, Eric, if there's any chance of rescheduling that call like 5 hours earlier, that would be incredibly appreciated because it's 9 p.m. in the UK, and I'd love to attend. I think Mihai's got the same thing. So just a proposal, but understand if you can't, and I'll just rearrange my day to attend.
Thanks, Treasurer. Yeah, I'll see what we can do on changing the time. If we get more requests for it, maybe we can push it earlier in the day.
Cool. Okay. Somebody, I think Shamir, where are you based, Shamir? From Israel. So I think it's even later there. Next up is the subgroup optimization subgroup, and this is it's become apparent that we have all these different subgroups. And there's a lot of overlap in how they're doing things, and to the degree that we're going to have reports, right? Certain things should be standardized, and so the idea of the subgroup optimization subgroup, is just to start thinking about those things, and to work with the different subgroups to really help optimize, what they're able to output. Unfortunately, have not made a lot of progress yet. And I'm actually looking for, I'm happy to co-lead it, looking for a co-lead. If anybody is interested in co-leading that, let me know. But this is really what I'm going to focus on in the next month with regard to DAIAA, because I really think that can have a big impact on how productive we're able to be as an organization. Next up, I think are two of the newer subgroups. Yonks, you here to talk about, I don't see him here, the AI management systems subgroup, AIMS subgroup. Yeah, and Miko, I don't see Miko here either, but he's started the SaaS enterprise apps subgroup. So I'll reach out to them and see if there's anything we can do to help them go. And so that is now done with that part of it. And then the last thing on the agenda I'm going to touch on is, the member asked, and this is really kind of the same things we asked for last month. First, join, participate in, or start a subgroup. If there's a problem that you're trying to solve, or an issue you're trying to think deeper about, no doubt that there are other folks here, who are thinking about that same thing. So start a subgroup and work on it with other folks. Second is invite new members. And finally, tell us what else that we should be doing, to help further the cause here that we're all working towards. And I guess I left out before this was supposed to go into kind of an open floor. If anybody had anything that they wanted to talk about, bring up, highlight. But we can finish with that.
I'll do one too. Go, Peter, why don't you go? You want to go first?
Cool. Thank you very much, Adam. So
yeah, and I went over the conversational just before you got here, so close.
Yeah, so sorry I missed the first half of the meeting. I had something else scheduled, but I hope everyone can make it for the conversational voice AI agent meeting next Tuesday. But I had a broader ask. I'm not having trouble finding people that want to showcase things that they're doing. And I've got some, good speakers lined up for next week and ones that I want to reach out. Where I'm struggling to figure out, and we'll discuss this at the group, but wondering while we're here, is like, what are some other ideas for joint projects or initiatives that can to help engage the members towards some kind of joint project? I was wondering if any people had any other ideas, or just throw it out there for people to think about, and then come and share those ideas, at the meeting. Because it's more than just showing what AI voice agents can do and conversation and the use cases and the types of products people are building. Like, what can we now sort of engage together and build something cool? Maybe it's building something on top of what Deli's doing with iCubes or something. I'm not sure what that is yet.
Well, I do have an idea, and actually I was thinking about that, and very briefly, I would call that the Web3 visa. Imagine, first of all, AI agents are being built every day in Web 2, right? With traditional centralized technologies. And many people are building their own agents, orchestration, swarms of agents, and a bunch of things that are happening every day. I would love to take one or two of those projects, reach out to the people who are building them, and see how can we make those Web 2 agents jump and migrate into Web3. That's why I want to call them like the Web3 visa. Okay, how can we put the stamp? How can we
Web3 passport to get them on board?
Get them on board and say, okay, how have they built with Web2 tools, right? Which are there, and everybody has tools for that. And how can we take real cases of stuff that works already in Web2 and make it work in Web3? And for us, it's going to be interesting because we're going to see, are there any gaps between Web3 and Web2? They are, but can we overcome them? And what can we offer to make that happen in Web3? I think that could be, for me, an interesting angle.
So I've got some interesting ideas around that, but wanted to sort of open it up to you guys. Like, is there a specific like Web2 agent platform or business solution that you're like, that would be so much better with this Web3 component?
Everything. The problem
is you
with
can't go
Web2
after
is that
everyone now.
you don't have control of your data. You don't have control of your agents. You depend on others people's stuff, right? So take any agentic platform. I don't know, Nathan or Lindy or whatever you have out there, and any kind of RAG or vectorial database, right? You're depending on someone else's stuff. How can we do that in Web3, right? I want a Nathan in Web3.
I have an idea on this, Mihai, actually, and so I agree. I think it's an interesting thing when you look at the agentic AI space overall, because I think you don't have to kind of argue the case so much about the benefits of decentralization, because it just naturally is going to go there. So you can really kind of give people the on-ramps to make it easy, right, for them to become more agentic. And it seems to me like one of the easiest places and kind of a simple use case is payments in that regards. And there's a good overlap between all the different subgroups here in that sense. So one thing that we have with iCubes, for example, is that an agent, a Web2 agent, can effectively get a Web3 identity, and that what identity effectively is a public key, and that public key then gives them a wallet. So now they can essentially operate in the Web3 world effectively in terms of taking payments, particularly for micro payments for delivering their services. And that's a kind of very easy sell, very easy on-ramp to them in that regards. And then you can just keep going deeper, right? Because essentially now, if you're building an agent, you're obviously working on integrating a language model of some sort and some tool sets into it. And that's kind of the focus of your kind of release, right? Now, you probably want to do some sort of back end to give yourself some understanding of who your customers are. But now you get into this whole data management side of it, and you can actually remove that problem completely by way of Web3, whereby your agents now your agents can really focus on delivering high value inference to the community, to your user base, right? Where you don't have to go through this whole process of collecting user data and managing that user data and stuff. Because essentially, you're not building a model if you're building an agent. You don't need all of this data to train your model. That's not your proposition, right? Your proposition is to bring tools and intelligence together, someone else's model together to deliver high value impact. So I think that we can actually start to remove a lot of the pain points for Web2 agent developers by those two things, giving them wallets, micropayments, and data that can be made available to their agent for utilization in producing inference, and without them needing to capture that data or have that data or store that data, so that you remove all their data compliance problems now, because it's just, there is no leakage from the user's data to the agent. The agent just basically provides the inference, uses its tools to service that inference, and you're done.
So conceptually, I understand that. How do we organize that into a project and set some achievable, constraints, objectives, and milestones?
I mean,
and what's the team we need to put together to do that as a side project, side hustle from members of these different subgroups?
So so Lou mentioned earlier about the cards. We want everyone here to establish a card identifying what their agent is, or a DAIAA membership card. The next evolution of that is a DAIAA membership cube, effectively iCube, whereby effectively every agent service, we start here effectively. We start here in Web3. It's the short answer. And we start here in DAIAA in Web3 effectively, whereby we build up our registry of AI agents in our ecosystem. And a lot of agents in this ecosystem will already have micropayment facilities in place and identities in place, and we just basically represent them. And then we just expand that. And then we have a working ecosystem that we can showcase to Web2 players in terms of agentic players. And, the invitation then is to join our ecosystem, not just really to kind of join a service in that sense, and to show how it works effectively in that context.
Okay.
It's all a little bit too theoretical at the moment. I hear you. Over the next 3 to 4 weeks, I think we'll be able to point to all of this tangibly. I was going to say physically, but digitally.
Yeah.
You'll be able to see and touch and feel it.
So are you available, Deli, next Tuesday to attend? Because maybe you could sort of explain this concept, and lead that part of the discussion, and see where people can connect the dots and be like, like maybe it's one of the presenters, like, oh, how do I take what I'm doing for AI for, personalized training, or how do I do it for what I'm building for my chat, for my, AI powered golf caddy, robotic golf caddy to do this, like maybe they'll.
I don't seem to be able to escape golf these days, but yes, absolutely. Yeah, I should be able to attend next week Tuesday. So we can pick that up offline.
Cool, and we could lead that discussion at the end of the meeting. Great.
Sure. Cool.
On that subject, sorry to interrupt. That's one thing here in a couple of weeks. I'd love to demo our AI caddy and get y'all's feedback. And then maybe when you guys have some time, you guys can actually test it out on a golf course and tell me what you think.
Love to see
Love
that. And
it.
I've got a kind of
Awesome.
side projects in golf that I'd love to work with that.
Sounds good.
It's kind of involved in the space. So no, I'd love to see it. And and we should figure out how we showcase it to the entire collective.
Awesome. Cool.
Yep, that would be awesome.
Cool. Yeah, and Hunter's also putting on a golf tournament at at BTC Vegas in a few weeks. So if anybody's going to be out there.
Yeah, if you guys are out there and want to play, just shoot me a message and I will give you guys a discount code. Would love to see y'all out there.
Yeah, it's at
Definitely.
Rio Seco, which is one of the best courses in Vegas, which is saying a lot. So cool. Anybody else have anything they want to bring up, mention, highlight?
Yeah, so just on the sides where this discussion was going on to bring more AI agents to the space, that's what we're planning to do. This space is still not there yet. We have a lot of people that we identified during our hackathon that participated from Europe and Southeast Asia and India, which are trying to build the decentralized AI agents. But they know, like someone mentioned about that, yes, they do exist in Web 2, but they're now trying to take it to a more decentralized version, and they all need more assistance and mentorship on how can they do that. So if anyone who would like to spend some time with these developers to mentor them, please let us know, get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to have onboard you as a mentor to these sessions, because what they need is the right direction to move, and the way they can move the AI agent that they built to make it more decentralized and self-trained from the community-trained way, which I think is a sense of any DAIAA, as we like to call it.
Okay, terrific. Thanks, Rashab. James?
Yeah, I just wanted to share one win we've had in promoting DAIAA, where people are staking tokens for access to our platform. And so I think that's a really interesting way to empower more decentralized AI, where you can stake for access. And eventually we can get to a point where I think like our AI can be buying compute with those staked tokens. And so it could be like this never-ending thing of staking for access and earning emissions. So for any of your projects you're looking for more adoption, I just wanted to share that that's been a really successful one. We did that partnership with Morpheus, actually.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that is actually one of the most exciting kind of commercial areas around tokenization as staking. And, again, I think Venice have done a great job with that as well, that model around, stake and gain access to compute. It really changes the whole model around, the commercial model. It's not subscription, it's not even micropayments, it's a whole new commercial model for agent access. So again, I agree with you. I think this is potentially really disruptive and a real sort of alternative to the status quo.
I think it's amazing. We're actually slightly ahead of Venice in terms of the number of tokens staked on their platform. So it's very cool to see people, and it's been really positive. So I'd encourage you all to build subnets and do those kinds of things if you can.
Agreed.
Stuff. Cool. Anybody else? Going once?
One thing I just want to add, Crypto Mondays Decentralized AI this evening at PubKey. Anyone who's in New York, we've got a live fireside with Yuma, with Evan Malaga from Yuma. So anyone who's in New York City, please come along and join us. And anyone who's in Toronto, obviously.
Yeah,
have fun.
We've got Crypto Mondays Toronto going on tonight here. And let's see, we got Logan. Welcome.
Hey everyone, first DAIAA, it's good to be here. Core contributor Eliza OS, co-founder, president of Eliza Systems. We're building Eliza into governments. I will be Crypto Mondays New York next week. Again, thanks Lou for the invite. But yeah, we're gonna be making a pretty stellar announcement with some of our collegiate partners, Hashgraph Association and Dfinity and Eliza OS. With the city of New York. So stay tuned for what that is next Wednesday.
Awesome. That sounds really exciting. And I'm going to be interviewing you on next week, Monday as well, Logan. So really looking forward to that too.
Awesome. Well, look, this was, I really think, really, really great fourth meeting. I think we're making some good progress. Yeah, it's it's hard not to really be impressed by the group of people who are here. So thanks everyone for coming, and the best days are ahead. Happy Crypto Mondays, everyone.
Thanks. Be good, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye, all. Happy Crypto Mondays.
Happy Crypto Mondays.